Welcome to Time Traveler's Coin Exchange. Tonight we're going to have episode 179 of The Coin Vault Has Opened. We're going to be looking at some 1970s Lincoln Memorial cents. They are in their mint cellos, cut from mint sets. We've got 50 of them, and we're going to see what we have, what the quality is, and then we're going to see if we have any varieties or small dates. So we'll jump into it. First we'll look at the quality of them. Hope everyone is having a good week. It's been pretty good here, but welcome everybody. And so I got these off of eBay, and so I don't have huge expectations, but you never know. So far, looking at them, they look imperfect, but I only pulled out 3 of them here, just trying to get a coin to take a photo of for the thumbnail for the stream. And there's quite a few different RPMs for the year as well, and so we can look for those as well. This one's pretty spotted, but this roll here looks pretty, like this bag is kind of handmade. So there should be 50 of them here. Dump these out and hope they get better than the ones we just looked at. This one was stuck to another. So maybe we'll get lucky, find some nice toned ones in here. But it looks like the coin market continues to be really hot, and springtime doesn't seem to be slowing people down. I sell on eBay exclusively, so that's pretty much where I get my information from. It's a really nice looking obverse. It's at least very, very, very bright. Usually when I see one that nice looking, I'm like, what's wrong with the back? It's kind of scratchy down here. But it looks like we have potential for some nice coins in here, if any of them are like that without scratches. But it looks like the amount of PCGS graded coins for sale on eBay continues to plummet. We're now at about 108,000 PCGS slabs on eBay, and the number just keeps getting smaller. It was 126,000 just like a month and a half ago, I think. It's basically every week it's going down like 500 to 1,000 now. It seems to have slowed down a little bit. But as the amount of PCGS slabs go down, I seem to continue to grow my position on eBay. I now have over 4,000 PCGS coins for sale on eBay, which as far as I can tell, I have more PCGS graded coins listed. So we're getting close here. I'm trying to save up some money to start doing bulk submissions to PCGS, and so hopefully we'll be able to dramatically increase the position on eBay. And I will just be sending in 20 of every date in mint and just keep doing it until I have every date in mint. And it'll be a fully stocked eBay. But part of me is curious if what is going on, if there's just that much interest and everything's getting bought up, or if people are buying up stuff and selling it elsewhere, if people are just not putting their coins for sale on eBay anymore. Just not 100% sure what's going on with the market, other than I'm having the best sales ever since I started selling on eBay, and the sales continue to go up. So just gotta ride that train as far as I can go. And for a while, with how things were, it's, you know, I'm selling more than I've ever sold before, but the prices on everything continue to go up. And I was considering kind of holding off, but everything I buy sells no matter what I put it up on, and just put a margin on the coin for whatever I spend for it. And stuff seems to be selling for well above PCGS price, so as long as things continue to sell above PCGS price, I'll continue buying things at and about at PCGS price. Obviously I'll try to get the best deal I can, but for a while there I was like, I can't afford these prices, and it's like, go with it, try it. And so I did, and things seem to be selling really, really well. Seems like quite a few people are just buying every single MS66 up coin they can get their hands on, and I'm in it too. I'm trying to get every single one that I can. It seems like quarters. If I noticed anything, it seemed like quarters picked up this week. I now have a pretty good supply of quarters. I'd say probably quarters are my second largest. So, I have more pennies than anything else because that's what I was always into. But my second largest position is probably quarters. And I noticed that quarters on PCGS, there was a ton of coins that went up like 25% in value. And I've noticed that they've probably been my second best seller this week. I've been selling a lot of quarters. And so that's been kind of cool. But Lincoln cents, they seem to just be dominating my sales. And yes, I have the most of those, but it's like 20 to 1. I'll sell 20 pennies. And pennies seem to be going for above PCGS price, like well above, like 20%, 25% above. While like nickels, dimes, and quarters and stuff seem to be going for like just below or at PCGS price. And so I'm hoping the same thing's gonna like catch on with nickels and dimes and half dollars. That everything is just gonna start to be a free for all, and everyone's gonna be trying to buy up everything they can. But for the most part, it seems like it's really like Lincoln collectors of different sorts. Seems like a lot of people are trying to finish their sets. I helped one person get the last coin on their set. Welcome, PK Carve. Long time no see. Good to have you back. How are you doing tonight? But I helped somebody complete their Lincoln cent collection. It was a 1947p MS66. Only one I had, but now they have it and they have a full set. How are you doing tonight, PK Carve? Welcome. Hello, hello. So we're looking for the elusive 1970S's, the small dates. And there's a couple nice RPMs here. Maybe we'll be lucky enough to find one of them. What have you been up to? I hope you are well. This one's got some paisleys. I believe this is from environmental damage. I'll see if I can get a good angle on it. I always think it looks really, really cool. Some environmental damage not so cool, and the coin is kind of dull. But the little patterns, like this little spiral down here, I always think it looks cool. I saw Bitcoin went up to, I think, $63,000 now. I looked at the year chart a year ago. Today it was at 6,000. So if anybody has invested $10,000 in Bitcoin a year ago, they now have $100,000 of Bitcoin. That'd be pretty sweet. Good to hear you're fine. It is good to be fine. I'm fine too. I mean, it's definitely been a week here. Business, work, awesome. Life, fine. I don't know. It's definitely, seems like life has, everyone around me is having challenges right now, and I had to join the party. And it seems like on the bright side, most everyone's trouble seems to be starting to dissipate. Really nice obverse on this one. Can't tell, that almost looks like there's a imperfect planchet up there. That looks like it sinks down into the coin. I don't think that would do anything to the grade though. However, is that on the coin? No, that's the mint cello. That looks like a pretty nice coin. I think that one would get at least a 66. I don't know if the planchet, if the little nick into it didn't look like damage, it just looked like the metal that it was struck on was incomplete. Some of these actually seem like they're better than the roll last week, or maybe it was a week and a half ago when we went through these. That one's got a little chunk, a little bit of mint damage. But I guess I'm getting happier with this roll as we go through. There's definitely some dull ones in here. I feel like, I can't quite remember, I feel like there were some really nice RPMs for this one. It'd be nice to find a nice looking RPM. I did find a couple when I was doing my PCGS lab videos. I did find a couple RPMs. One of them was a quarter, which I'm used to looking at Lincoln cents, but I found an RPM on a quarter. And so that was kind of cool. That was different. I'm like looking at the A in states there. I think there's just like a little scratch, but kind of looked like there was a shelf there. A little spot. It's kind of red-brown spot, but it's probably turning black. I'd really like to find a small date. I feel like I need to go through the old 1970s rolls that I have, because I feel like I hadn't looked at enough small dates to really be like, yeah, that's a small date. And now I feel like I could do that. And it's just really looking at tons and tons and tons of coins. It really helps. Maybe a little nick under the A in America. Not too bad of a coin. Not quite as bright as a couple of the other ones, but pretty clear. Interesting looking rim right here. I'm not sure if that's just a really interesting place scratch, kind of like up here. Hello and welcome. I cannot read your name, my friend, but I welcome you nonetheless. One of these days I will learn. Welcome to the stream. I hope you are having a good night. Give me another one of those cool emojis if you're having a good night. So I feel like there's a couple coins in here that I would get graded just for the grade. And so this roll will be worth going back through. I think probably like an MS66 would be like the highest. Not this one. That one's gonna go somewhere. I don't know where. I think I might need to, now that I have like so many rolls of mint cellos, I think I'm gonna have to like create like a eBay listing of like my 10 worst mint cellos. Bargain. And it's like all are guaranteed to have something ugly going on, whether it's a spot or damage or environmental damage, you know. Sometimes people will be happy buying stuff if they know that it's going to be the worst of the worst. But it's like some of them, it's like I don't even know. I mean, I guess the only way that you can really sell them is putting them in a big lot like this and just sticking them in there, because otherwise they're really worth nothing but a penny to anyone. Something kind of rolling around on that one. So we're almost done just taking a look at them, and then we can zoom in. I don't feel like I saw any really weak looking liberties yet. But it's oftentimes a good indication. So when I go through them in the beginning here, I mostly just try to kind of look at the quality. Sometimes something will catch my eye, but it's like I'm not trying to measure the tops of the 7s to the 0s. I'm not trying to look to see if the liberty is kind of faint. I feel like I did see a couple of the mint marks were like, yes, look at us up close, look at us up close, but we can take a look at all the mint marks when we kind of zoom in on the 9s. And so I think my plan here is to, this is the last one here, is to look at them for any errors and then zoom in and check out the RPMs, or check out for RPMs and just double check for small dates. All right, so we can do that now. I get them all, got them all. Turn on some lights, cover your eyes. I'm gonna bring this closer, bring this down, level it out. Hoo-ha. Let me go back into the other mode too. Looks like some machine damage, I believe. And so yeah, I think I'm gonna go through them all, just looking for anything obvious, and then we can zoom in another stage further to look at the date, and if we see anything interesting on any of them. So the Liberty on that one's kind of faint. It looks like some machine damage. 7's too low. The 9 almost looks like it points. But it does not look like what we're looking for. A little tone spot there. It's like I went and checked out to see who else streams at this time tonight before, and there was, I feel like the coin community is growing. There was like 10 people streaming coins on here tonight. That's pretty cool. It's like sometimes I wonder if I should switch up my stream time so that I can watch some of the other streams. It's like, I feel like the only other time I could do it is like start at 10 instead of 9 o'clock. And it seems like that might be a good idea, because it seems like there's a lot of cool stuff going on at 9 that I miss. But sometimes I do longer streams, so this works out. My guess is we'll probably be going to about 10 minutes past 10 o'clock. It seems like that's about how long it normally takes to go through these. So it looks like eBay no longer is doing eBay bucks. They ended it at the end of last month. I was really enjoying eBay bucks. And I don't know if there's something going on with my swag bucks, but swag bucks was cool because you could get 1% cash back from them on top of your 1% eBay bucks. But I noticed last night none of my swag bucks had registered for nearly 2.5 weeks. So I'm trying to get in contact with them to find out. So it's like all of a sudden my purchasing power on eBay has gone down 1%. And if swag bucks is done as well, that is 2% down, which means I can buy 2% less coins. But I think they're going to get it figured out. I don't know what's going on. This one has the machine damage on it as well. I feel like both of these ones that had the machine damage, they also had a light, a very, not very clear Liberty as well, which is one of the things I normally look for. The FG there is pretty faint. Let me come a little closer to you guys. Yeah, this is like the machine damage roll, huh? This looks just like the other coin. And so the machine damage, machine doubling like that, it looks cool. It looks like there's doubling, but it's actually, instead of it being doubled, there's less coin. It's like when the coin was being made, the coin gets kind of scooped away. And so it's actually missing some of the lettering. It's basically skinnier. While if it was a double die, you'd either have it doubled or you would have like added width. And it is very, very common. Even though sometimes you'll still see me get excited until I realize that it's not a double die. But if you go back to some of the beginning streams here I did like a 1.5 years ago, I would get pretty happy finding a damaged coin. Sorry guys. I think the E on that one got flattened. That E definitely looks like it has some extra width to it. It's like I definitely want to find a small date. But there was one RPM that I really, really enjoyed. It just looked really cool. And so I'd like to find a repunchment mark that's just like really, really strong. The bottom of that S is really intense. I don't know if it got flattened. It looks really big. And like I said before, we will zoom in and see. We'll check out the mint marks a little closer because I know that being at this level, it's a little bit hard to see. But it's pretty much, it would take, like I noticed when I did like if I go in all the way, it takes like about a half an hour longer for stream. I figured out that it's just quicker to go back and do everything again. And so I could zoom out and zoom in and zoom out and zoom in. But really we end up getting to look at more coins or just save you guys time so you guys can do something else. And I feel like I have not been having as much luck. I feel like the first couple rolls of 1970s that I got, I feel like they produced. And I feel like the more and more mint cellos that I get these days, the less and less I find. I'm guessing that just more and more people are into searching things. I mean, that's definitely what it seems like. It's like I actually started buying the just original bank wrapped rolls, because I could barely even find any mint cellos to search. I basically would have to pay for mint sets and then cut them up if I wanted to do them the way that I'm doing them now. And that would just get really, really, really expensive. But it seems like mint sets are going up as well. It seems like basically every single aspect of the coin market is going up, but at the same time it feels like every collectible, anything worth money, is going up. All my bills, all my utilities have gone up. People around me looking for apartments, they've like doubled, tripled in price. Housing has like doubled in price. It's like basically the only stuff that has not gone up in price is stuff that people don't want, that nobody wants. Like 10-year-old consumer electronics and just things that were nobody ever wanted to begin with. It's just funny. I feel like I read in the news that like, yeah, there's no inflation, we're doing really good, and I'm just like, what world do these people live in? It definitely seems like there is inflation going on. Another thing we should look at when we zoom in is like above the 7 and below the 7. Just looking for doubling there, and the 0 as well. There's definitely quite a few areas that when we're a little bit closer, but mainly I feel like, I can't remember, I don't feel like there's even anything on the reverse of 1970S to look at. I'm just doing it for fun, and we're already looking at the coin, and so it's like if we found something awesome. If not, at least we looked and at least we tried. But I can only imagine if I, instead of like mining Magic the Gathering, if I had done Bitcoin instead, it was basically, which one do I want to do? And I played Magic the Gathering, and but I probably would have sold out by now anyway. And I'd be like, why did I do that? I would have at least sold half of my position probably when it went up, and then another half when it went up again. But my goodness, there's some happy people out there. But part of me doesn't understand quite why the price has gone as high as it has. Like I could have understood it like going up to $1,000, but I'm not quite understanding why the price of Bitcoin has gone up to $65,000. Like, what justifies it? As why would somebody rather have $65,000 worth of Bitcoin than $65,000 of something else that's a little bit more solid and tangible? I mean, like, why have a couple Bitcoins when you could have a house? Don't know. Maybe it's just something that people like to put billions of dollars into for fun. Just barely. Some of the initials on these are just barely there. But I feel like Bitcoin is like the main one that I just kind of check periodically out of curiosity just to see where it's at. And I have no idea how the other... I know that there are a lot of other cryptocurrencies. And I don't know how they're doing in comparison, if they're all having their day as well, or if it's really just Bitcoin. And I don't think there's anything in the columns to look for I've just tried to be more consistent here. Like, I pretty much only used to check the date, check Liberty, and like check up there. But like lately, it's like I'm just learning more and more about these errors that happen in the centers of the coin. And I feel like a lot of people are guilty of just looking at the edges, and so I feel like there are possibly more errors for people to find that they haven't found yet. That's gotta be a fun feeling to find something that nobody else has found before. It's like I've definitely found different RPMs and stuff and been like, oh, which one's this? I'm gonna figure it out. And you go and look through the 30 different known ones, and some of them look like it, but then they don't quite match. And then you're left, okay, is this a new RPM? Is there like 1,000 RPMs that nobody's, that aren't identified yet? Like, seems like there's a lot of them. Chuck at Copper Coins definitely is doing a good job cataloging them all and seeking them out and finding new ones. It's probably fun when you've done that much work to actually like find a new one to add to your database. It's definitely a big job he picked up. I think that's just machine damage. It was looking a little interesting. I feel like the roll that we looked at last week, or the last roll in 1970s that we looked at, I don't feel like I remember any machine damage on any of that roll. And so I'm not sure why this one's so loaded up. I think we're about halfway through, and then we can zoom in and just really take a closer look. I remember seeing this coin, this die. It's got like a little tiny pebble on top of the 7. I think we found 2 of them that look just like that in the last roll. It's fun when you when you've looked at so many different ones and you start to recognize little things that make different dies unique. I remember seeing this coin off on the scope too with all the little paisleys. Speaking of, what's on the top of that 7? That same little pebble. Just looking at the bottom, so I think that this is just machine damage too. It's, if you look at like the bottom of the letters, it's just scooped out just a tiny bit. We'll keep a close eye out on this one for some notches though. Nope. Yeah, this roll here to me, I feel like the first roll that we went through, I believe both of these rolls came from the same person, but the first one looked like they were all ones that were definitely not errors and not super nice looking coins, and these ones look like they were ones that like the person was like, maybe that's an error, and then better looking coins. And so I feel like these are the ones that they like took a second look at and kind of came to the determination that you know, it wasn't quite high enough of a grade, or okay, that's not an error, I know better now. But if that's the case, maybe something slipped through. It's like definitely been building a lot of knowledge, buying from all these different sellers that sell a bunch of stuff. Definitely learning, okay, this is what kind of to expect from this person if I buy, and this is what to expect if I buy from this person. And it seems pretty consistent. Like you can kind of like buy a sample from one person, and pretty much every batch you get is going to be about the same grade, about the same quality. It's going to have errors in it, or it's not going to have errors in it. And if it, you know, doesn't have what you're looking for, it's time to move on to the next person. But, you know, I used to look for people that didn't sell any coins at all and just looked like they were liquidating something. But even those ones lately, it's like I'll buy from someone with almost no feedback with just a couple coins, and won't find anything. There's our little pebble on top of the 7. I'd say for the most part, my best luck buying stuff has been from a bunch of the bigger sellers. I don't know if they just don't have the time to go through, if the stuff that they're picking out is just like cream of the crop, and anything that's like close, they're just not into. And people also that seem to have stores where they're selling a lot of silver. If a seller is selling a lot of silver, I feel like oftentimes they cut out the different mint cellos, like the copper and the nickels, and they just kind of sell off the nickels and pennies. And they're only interested in the silver coins from the sets. Not all the time. There are definitely a bunch of sellers who, you know, you'll notice they'll have a bunch of really nice like cameo proof Lincolns from the same years that they're selling the silver. And so definitely I feel like some of them, they take the time to go through the pennies, and then some of them don't. But there definitely seems to be a lot of people just buying and cutting up mint sets right now. Buying up mint sets, proof sets, buying it all. Some people are cutting them up, some people are just hoarding them. Maybe this actually was the Paisley one. There was one with a little bit, and then there was one with a lot. I don't think I've seen a small date here, but I will zoom in one more time after we look through all these. We definitely have time. And we won't need to, I feel like if there was anything on the reverse, we would see it right now. I believe that's just machine damage on that S, but that one does look curious. We'll get there all in good time. I think we've got just a little bit more than 10 to go before we zoom into the next level. Some more machine damage. Machine damage on the reverse. Yeah, it seems like all the ones in this lot that have a faint Liberty, they're all heavily machine damaged on the date. Just kind of curious to me. That O there, for some reason, it must just be machine damage, but there looked like there was kind of a line going through the center of the O. But that would be way, way, way too skinny. And so this one looks like it's going to be machine damaged. Well, maybe not. The coins are keeping me on my toes. I feel like nearly every initial that I look at here is just getting fainter and fainter. We got the strongest ones. Almost looks like I can see a little bit of raised metal above the 7. It'll be easier to see that when we're zoomed in. So I had Logan's coins won the last scavenger hunt that I did. I think that there's still a couple out there open, but it had been so long since anyone did the scavenger hunts that I stopped doing them. And so there's quite a couple prizes up there, I think, still. There's a really nice 1945p, and I think there's still even some PayPal cash prizes. I'm not sure. I only see one coin prize in front of me, but if those all get found, I think it's time to do some more scavenger hunts. And I think if I do it again, I will try to figure out how to do a really fun one. Kind of like bring it up a level. Maybe I just need larger cash prizes. Or like a really, really nice coin. But it seems like when I first started doing them, everyone was interested, but then I feel like as I've made more and more videos, like I have over 8,000 videos, searching 8,000 videos to find a scavenger hunt clue. It's like I think that's the objective. I need clues. Clues, yes. It needs to be more random luck than just... I'm sorry, it needs to be less random luck of putting on the right video and more, you know, like an intelligent game where people are fighting against time. Oh, we just got a couple left. And I don't think I saw any small dates, but we'll know for sure in a couple minutes. Ooh, this cello feels like it's falling apart. Feels like a flaky pastry. One more coin, then I win a sip of coffee, and we will zoom in. Okay, coffee time, then zoom in time. It's like my 15th cup of coffee today. Just barely awake too. I'd like to do earlier streams so you guys can see me when I'm actually awake. Okay, let's go all the way in. I don't think so. Not sure if it's the... This mint cello is like funny, I think. It's like flaked away from the coin. And so we're looking to see if we're looking above the 7, below the top bar of the 7. We're looking to see if the 7 is level with the top of the 0. And then there's also a doubling on the 0. Then we want to look at the mint mark here to see if there's any split serifs, if it's doubled. Looks like it's partially filled inside that one. But we're not looking for... It's like when the letters are partially filled, it's basically machine damage. It's just the die is really, really, really worn out. And it's not what we're looking for. But it definitely, I feel like it definitely can have shapes. There's our little pebble. We're going to see 3, 4 more of those. It would be nice if there was some sort of air that was on that coin, because it would make it really identifiable if there was an air that went along with the pebble. And so this one's machine damage. You can see that there's some missing from the top of the 7 and the 9 and the S. Not what we are looking for. I guess we probably should be looking at the 9 as well, but this is like, you know, really good machine damage here. Very strong. That's pretty much if the 7's not level to the top of that 0, we're not going to have a small date anyway. But I would like to have, you know, one that just points. So like when the inside curl of that 9, when it points straight through the center of the 7, that's what we want. When it points down to the bottom of the 7, that's the large date. The large date is when the 7 is below the top of the 0, and the small date, the 7 and the 0 are level. I feel like having some sort of computer program that like has like a little line would be awesome. that just like grabs onto the top of the 7 and just has a little bar that goes across. I feel like you could create a computer program that you could just send pennies right down a conveyor belt and the computer could look at it. I feel like that's something a computer with technology the way it is could handle. Hopefully someday Accredited Coins and me will get that conveyor belt where all the coins can just be poured onto and have everything sorted out and all the rare ones go in a pile and all the nothings go back in rolls. But for now, as far as I'm concerned, eBay is the conveyor belt. You know, it's like why spend $1 million building a machine that can sort everything when people out there will sort everything and then post it for sale online. It's like then all you gotta do is go and buy it. We are the conveyor belt, the human conveyor belt. Not seen anything yet. Seen machine damage. Lots of machine damage. It's funny because it seems like in one sense machine damage is an error because that's not what the coin is supposed to look like. It's just not a collectible error. It's too bad too because some of the machine damage coins look really cool. Our search continues. I feel like there was 1-7 that looked close. I feel like there was a couple S's that looked really interesting, but I'm definitely seeing oh, that one looks pretty close. It's kind of hard to hold it. Let's see what the Liberty looks like on this. I don't feel like it is. That one looks nearly level. I'll put that one aside. We'll look at another one, see if it looks way different. Like that looks way lower. One second, I feel like my focus changed on here. That one there, I'll go back to it in a minute. I don't think it was. But it's like most of these, it's just that you look at them and it's like, nope. I don't think that's an RPM. I feel like there's a couple other diagnostics that you can check for the small date. I have a couple small dates, but I'm not sure how many dies there were for the small dates. I mean, they're definitely worth a lot more than the large date. Like, you can get an MS66 large date for like $20, but a small date, it's gonna be more. For a MS66, it's probably like $100. So our little pebble. I don't know if the angle of 7 sometimes shifts or it's just how I'm showing it to you guys, but sometimes it feels like it's closer and others not even. I do feel like it's getting harder to find varieties on eBay and different sites lately. You can find them just fine in a slab, but I guess that's where a lot of the nice varieties are destined, is to get graded, have someone make some money off of it. That one looks higher than most of them, but I don't think it's a small date. And definitely looks like that 0 has some on the 7. Let's take a look at that other one more time. See if it's still. Yeah, I guess the 7, the 0 is higher. I can try turning it upside down, see if that. Yeah, the 0 is definitely. It's an interesting way to do it. Almost looks easier to see, because you can just kind of like move the 7 right over. So it looks like we were bust on this roll. There were some nice coins in it though, as far as definitely some 65s, which aren't good enough to get graded, but I feel like there were like maybe 3 coins that could be a 66 in there, which I would still get them graded. I'd throw them in and get, you know, like 20 1970s large dates graded. It would be worth the time. I definitely sell a bunch of them, and I'd be happy to get some. So that's everything. Thank you, PK Carve, for joining tonight. And thank you person's name who I cannot pronounce because I don't speak the language. But thank you for stopping by. Everyone else watching, thank you. Blue Sandy, if you're watching, I know you normally watch on a TV. Thanks for watching. And we'll have another episode, looks like episode 180. We've made it to the 180s on Saturday at 9 p.m. Pacific time here on YouTube. And I believe we're just going to stick with the schedule here of Wednesday and Saturdays at 9 p.m. Pacific time on Saturdays and Wednesdays. I'm trying to think of what I have. Two rolls of 1956 original bank wrapped 1956p Lincoln wheat cents. So we might do those in an episode. I'm going to try to get some more varieties and hopefully set up a survey for this weekend so that we can look through what you guys want to look through. But I should have a couple other choices. But thanks everyone for watching. I wish you guys a beautiful week, and I'll see you all in the future. Good night, everybody.